Let's make an Easter babka.
I have a cup of raisins. I covered them in soplica. You can use rum or brandy. Let them sit for a couple of hours. I've strained off the liquor, which now has a nice raisin flavor to it. I'm going to use this in the glaze. The raisins are ready to go. It's my 1 packet of yeast, 1/4 cup of warm water. I'm going to let this sit. In the meantime, we'll cream the other ingredients. I have 3/4 of a cup butter, 3/4 of a cup sugar, and I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm creaming these together now.
I should have said butter and sugar.
Yellow now, very fluffy. So we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla and a cup of scalded milk. So the milk has been heated to just about boiling. We're going to beat all this until the mixture cools down. That'll take a while. The temperature is less than 100 degrees now, so it won't hurt our yeast, which has started to froth a little bit. We'll add this, and normally we would add 3 eggs, but the price of eggs is sky high right now. I have 4 in the fridge and I don't want to use them for this, so I'm using aquafaba to replace the eggs. So here's the yeast. And aquafaba, this is the liquid from canned garbanzo beans, or the cooking liquid if you're cooking dry beans. So 3 tablespoons is equal to 1 egg. This calls for 3 eggs. I'm using 9 tablespoons, so a little over 1/2 cup. Next, the flour goes in, 4 1/4 cups. My dough hook is missing in action, so at some point I'll probably have to stop and work this in by hand. But we'll let the mixer do as much work as possible. There's hope for me. It's a very wet dough, so we'll let the mixer do all the work. Now we're adding in the booze-soaked raisins and 2 tablespoons of grated lemon zest. I had a few dried cranberries, so I threw those in too. So this is going to go into our prepared bundt pan. If you've ever had trouble with a bundt pan not releasing, I want to share a tip I picked up in Poland. I grease the pan, in this case I use softened butter, and I dredge it in dried breadcrumbs, unseasoned breadcrumbs. And you get a perfect release. The breadcrumbs just sort of melt into the cake. They're not really noticeable when you're serving it. My very wet dough is going into this pan, and then I'm going to let it sit until the dough almost reaches the top. After that, it goes into a 350 oven. It's a wet dough, but it's stiff enough that I wouldn't say it really pours into the pan. Take a look. I'll just kind of cut it off and move to another section.
into a 350 oven for 40 to 45 minutes. Cool in the pan for 10 minutes, then remove from the pan and cool completely. Got a great surface for my glaze. And this is something I just want to slice into, have it with a cup of tea. It was so delicious. Smacznego.